is up, fam? This is Donald from the Pinstripe Chronicles. We got some news for you. We got some breaking news. Gerrit Cole is remaining with the New York Yankees. Big news there. Also, we got Gleyber Torres. Big news there. The Yankees don't offer him a qualifying offer. Not really surprising, but also kind of surprising considering how good a postseason he had. So it looks like Gleyber Torres is off, and then we're going to have to talk about Joe Kelly ripping the Yankees, and I'm sure it's going to have some. It's going to bring up some debate for those in the chat. Some are going to think that he is an asshole, and some are going to be thinking, you know what, he low key might be speaking facts. So I'm looking forward to getting into that. But we got to start with Gerrit Cole, and we also got to say hello to everybody in the chat. So everybody in the chat, let's hit that like button first of all, guys. Mandatory now. Hit the like button. Hit the like button before I even talk. Hit that like button. And share it out for those of you in the chat. Share it out for your followers on X or YouTube or wherever you're watching. Get this shared out, and let's hit the sub button for those who are new. Let's say hello to the chat. Let's see what we got in the chat. We got John the Beagle Dad saying, "Yes, I am early." Yes, you are. I love how early you are, man. Pronto. Got Jonathan. Good to see Jonathan in the chat. Salute to you, Jonathan. Stevie B, what's up to Stevie B? How are you doing, man? FJ, how are you doing, FJ? I think his defense denied Torres a qualifying offer. I think Jonathan is absolutely speaking facts. We got Stevie B, yep. We got Frank Rivera. Kelly is grade A ass, but he isn't wrong with the assessment of the Yankees. I'm looking forward to breaking down that. We got Alex in the chat. Salute, Alex. Yo, Alex, if you want the link for the show, I'll send you the link if you want to hop on, man. It is absolutely open to my guy. Stevie B says he's home, relaxing, about to feed 5 huskies. Bro, that's a lot of huskies. Brad, all the way from Aussie. Salute to you, man. Thank you for tuning in. What is going on, guys? Once again, everybody hit the like button and share it out to your friends and family. And the stranger on the corner, as Uncle T likes to say. Salute to our leader, Uncle T. He'll be at work right now, but he's got some stuff going on with his fam. So once again, we send our love to Captain Uncle T. And this is one captain that does show up, Uncle T. Let's see if he got to say. I did let CT Cards know your life. Awesome. Looking forward to seeing CT Cards when he hops on. What else is everybody doing in the chat? How are you guys spending your evening? Luke says, congrats to the Yanks on Cole. That's great news. It is great news. It's huge. Greg says he won't be missing Gleyber. Yeah, bro. I don't know, man, but he's such a weird one. I mean, obviously, when the news is confirmed and he goes elsewhere, we're going to really break down Gleyber's career with the Yankees, but it's such a mixed bag. CBB says, congratulations on 800. Can't wait to see you guys break 900 and 1,000. My man, thank you so much. Got Mario in the chat. Salute to Mario. How are you doing? FG says he's just putting dinner in the oven. Well, hopefully we're a good soundtrack for you making dinner. Torres, love-hate relationship. Spot on, man. I think that's a pretty good way of putting it. So we've got almost 30 people in the chat. We've got Karen. Salute to Karen DeLee. Thank you very much for hopping on, Karen. How are you doing? How are you spending your evening, Karen? Hit that like button. So, well, how am I spending my evening? Well, I guess I'm looking at the Yankee information, and there's all kinds of stuff to break down. So it's going to be fun. We've got a lot to break down, guys. We've got to talk about how the Yankees move on from Torres, how they're going to replace him, if it's going to be internal or external. I think most likely it's going to be internal. And we have got to talk about our ace and one of the only guys that showed up in the postseason consistently, and that's our man Gerrit Cole. Great news to get Gerrit Cole back. Huge relief, and actually, you know what? I think it's kind of on a deal that works for both sides. So let's break that down. So we will get the article up from the New York Post. Gerrit Cole staying with the Yankees on the current deal with extension talks coming. And that's huge because earlier this morning I was talking with Rob, and we were talking about why the Yankees didn't just automatically pick up the option. We're thinking, maybe there's going to be some kind of negotiating going on, maybe to lower the AAV and change the deal a little bit to make it work for both sides. Maybe it'll help the Yankees with a bit of payroll flexibility. And that kind of looks like what's going to happen. But it's obviously on hold at the moment. The most important thing is that Gerrit Cole opted out and then opted back into the same deal. And that's huge. That's huge. So it's 0-1. How are you doing, Owen? What is up? John the Beagle Dad says, thank you for staying, Gerrit Cole. Yeah, thank you, Garrett. I think Garrett did this because he loves the Yankees, honestly. Gregory says, in the system, Jorbit Vivas for second or keep Jazz at third is my call. We will be breaking that down later in the show. We're going to put this on ice for now. So, Medina, how you doing, Medina? Really enjoyed hanging out with you during Pete Simonetti's event. So, what is up? What is up? Right, let's do this. Let's get into the fun stuff, the nitty gritty. Let's talk about Gerrit Cole. So, Gerrit Cole staying. Cole opted out of his deal on Saturday to possibly put the pressure on the Yankees to add a fifth year at $36 million. But the two sides actually found some middle ground. Instead, he's opting back into the same deal. So there's no change. And the Yankees don't pick up that. It's almost like a thumbing the nose at Scott Boras. So I love that. So that we can always love that. And let's have a look and see what this means for our payroll after the Gerrit Cole decision. So let's share that screen and let's look into what this means. All right, so Gerrit Cole made the strange decision to opt out of his contract with the New York Yankees before deciding to remain with the team on the exact same 4-year, $144 million contract he opted out of in the first place, according to ESPN's Jeff Passan. Per that report, discussions on a potential contract extension will continue. Essentially, it's the same as if Cole did not opt out. So, that decision aside, where does this leave the team's payroll heading into the 2025 season? Per Spotrac, the Yankees currently have a $186.4 million in adjusted payroll allocations and $235 million in projected payroll expenditures when taking into account arbitration and pre-arbitration estimate. So that's a hefty sum, and that's before taking into account the astronomical cost it will take to keep Juan Soto if the Yankees are able to extend him. The belief is that the floor for a Soto deal is 10 years and $500 million. So that's just the floor to retain him. The Yankees will need to add at least $50 million to their current payroll projections for next season, which would bring them up to around $285. And that's at the low end of predictions regarding Soto's contract. It's going to be a huge market for him. It is doable. Of course, the Yankees set a $309 million payroll this past season, second in baseball behind only the Mets, $317. The Yankees have enough money coming off the books to pay Soto's big money, though it may mean the team will have to cut some financial corners to address other needs on the roster. Taking that approach would the Yankees simply be mirroring the flashy and powerful but fundamentally unsound group that reached the World Series this past season, losing the Fall Classic in part due to terrible defense and head-scratching mental lapses. I'm looking forward to getting into that. Perhaps, but players like Soto, who turned 26, don't come around often. Pairing him with Aaron Judge gives the Yankees the most dynamic duo in the sport. So, that's where we're at. Really good news regarding Gerrit Cole. I mean, Martino just posted something Cashman has said R.E. Cole. Interesting, right? We'll get that information in there. Cole made us proud. He wants to stay a Yankee. I mean, Gerrit Cole was unbelievable this postseason. He had a 0.71 ERA in the World Series. He had a 2 ERA in the entire postseason. The guy was fantastic. He had multiple huge starts. And you could make the argument that that last World Series start was probably Gerrit Cole's one of his best outings as a Yankee, until obviously there was that mix-up between him not covering the bag and Rizzo not making it to first. You can argue all day long whose fault it is. I would say it's about 50-50. But it's irrelevant. Gerrit Cole was unbelievable, man. He just had that focus. And I think everyone here in the chat can definitely agree with this. He just had that focus. He just had that singular glare where he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He knew exactly where he wanted to locate his pitches. And he knew exactly how he was going to get the Dodgers out. It was a remarkable performance. And those dudes don't come around every day. First of all, he's a Yankee fan from the start. Second of all, I'm saying this right now, I think he's our kind of cool leader. The leaders of this locker room, for me, just my opinion, Giancarlo Stanton, Gerrit Cole, and Juan Soto. Those are my leaders. Those are the dudes that just seem to always show up when the chips are down and we badly need something. Those dudes tend to be the heroes in the big spot, in the big moment. Gerrit Cole takes zero shit. Big G takes zero shit. And Juan Soto, you can always just tell, man. Juan Soto was not goofing around. When the Yankees lost, he would just look pissed. And there's just not enough of that in this Yankee team. There isn't, just in my opinion. I think that he is different, and those three guys are different from the rest of the culture in the locker room. I think there is a culture issue in the locker room. I've been saying it a long time. And it starts with Brian Cashman, because he allows it. Aaron Boone, because he permeates it. And Aaron Judge, because he follows it up. There just seems to be kind of there just seems to be, how do I put it? Not a winning mentality. I just don't get that winning mentality. They always just seem to be like, it's all right. We'll get him tomorrow. We'll do it again tomorrow. Or just a lack of intensity. So for me, Gerrit Cole being the one guy that shows the kind of intensity that you need on a day-to-day basis, huge that we brought him back. And the Dodgers preached it to their players. Spot on. And we're going to get into Joe Kelly in a minute, because we do have a lot to talk about there. So, yeah, the Gerrit Cole news is huge news for us. And I do think that they're going to rework the contract, and it's going to do us a huge, huge favor. Now, I believe John the Beagle Dad is asking what my Twitter handle is. My Twitter handle is @dstewart267. So if anyone wants to follow me, My handle is at dstewart267. John the Beagle Dad is asking, will his pitch count go down? Say that again. At dstewart267. Okay. Will his pitch count go down? I don't think anything's going to massively change. He'll have a full off season to rest. And he's gonna rehab that elbow, because I don't know if that elbow was 100%. So I think that he's going to be good to go. I think that everything will be fully healthy by the time pitchers and catchers come around, and I don't see any issues there. I think he's going to be the same Gerrit Cole. I mean, the idea that there's going to be a pitch count with him, I just don't see that as a reality. I mean, look at what he did in the World Series. I mean, the dude was hitting 99 on the gun, so I don't see any issues with his velocity, any arm issues there. So I think nothing's going to change with Gerrit Cole, and it's just going to be the same. I think it's going to be the same as what we'd always expect from our man. So I just think that's huge news for us, man, because he's front and center to everything that we want to do. So here we go. Cashman just spoke at length about the Cole situation, said all parties, this is per Andy Martino, said all parties wanted him to remain a Yankee, but team wasn't comfortable adding the 5th year. Glad to have him back, though. He says no active extension discussions as of right now. But he emphasized that the tone and tenor of the talks were positive. Interesting. I don't know what to make of that. I really don't know what to make of that, guys. What do you guys think in the chat? So wait a minute. So there's no extension talks as of right now? Cashman just spoke at length about the Cole situation. Said all parties wanted him to remain a Yankee, but the team wasn't comfortable adding the 5th year. Well, that's smart. Glad to have him back, though. But here's the thing, no active extension discussions as of right now? Why wouldn't you? I mean, he emphasized the tone and tenor of the talks were positive. Well, I would have thought so. It wouldn't be negative. One argument for the Yankees keeping Gerrit Cole is that Jacob DeGrom got $185 million with far less track record and health. It's probably an overpay for well, Andy, come on, you could spell, brother. It's Gerrit Cole, Cy Young winner. At least add the E. Late 30s, but they would just have to pay for a replacement. I don't know what Andy Martino is trying to make out of that, but okay. So Lou's asking, so did we add him back without the extra year? Yes, we did. CBB says they're working on something. I think fake media is saying Cashman said something, then he didn't. He's like trying to say two different things. I mean, it just sounds like Brian Cashman. John the Beagle Dad, that comment is perplexing. We've got almost 50 people in the chat, so give me your thoughts, guys. That's why Andy Martino, I'm not the biggest Andy Martino fan. I'll give you a reason why I'm not his biggest fan. I think he's a bit of a clickbait artist, actually. I'll tell you why he's a clickbait artist. The Yankees have declined. Left it at that. And then afterwards goes their 2025 option on Lou Trevino. What were you thinking it was? I mean, that's some asshole behavior. That is some asshole behavior. That's some clickbaity behavior. And it got 40,000 clicks. Look at it. That's what I'm circling. 40K clicks. The Yankees have declined. And it's probably much more than it now. I mean, that's some asshole behavior right there. That's some clickbaity nonsense. So, I'm not his biggest fan. Salute to Greg and John. How are you doing, Greg and John? I'm not Andy Martino's biggest fan. I don't really know what he's trying to say there about what Brian Cashman is indicating. But Brian Cashman's a politician. He just talks a whole lot without really saying a whole lot. What is up, CT Cards? How are you doing, man? Right, we now got 50 people in the chat, but we don't have 50 likes yet. So hit that like button because it does wonderful things to this channel. When we get it, and I'll get it to send out to more people. That's what we want. So let's hit that like button, guys. So yeah, weird thing that Brian Cashman said there that they weren't. I mean, why would he even need to add that the talks were positive? Why wouldn't it be positive? He's the one dude that showed up. CT says, always click the like and y'all should too. Here you go. Take it from a man, CT. That's what I'm trying to work out for Brian Cashman. So he's saying the talks were positive. Why wouldn't they be? I mean, look at our rotation. Who showed up in our rotation? It was Gerrit Cole in the postseason, because that's all that really matters to me. It was Gerrit Cole. Rodon was spotty. He had one good start and a couple of bad starts. And he absolutely flatlined in the World Series. Clark Schmidt struggled. Luis Gil looked good. And I don't understand why the Yankees didn't use him more in the postseason, frankly. I thought he looked fine. And Nestor Cortez obviously gave up that brutal home run, which will live in infamy. Not like it's his fault because he was put in a position to fail. But that was the Yankee rotation, and Marcus Stroman wasn't trusted at all. He didn't even pitch an inning of the postseason. So why was he even on the roster? So of all the starters, Gerrit Cole was the one guy. And he was phenomenal. Pitched to a 2 ERA in the postseason. He was clutch. He was our stopper. And he almost pitched a no-hitter in the World Series, which is mind-blowing, until Aaron Judge and Volpe and Rizzo plus Gerrit Cole, their defensive errors cost us. And that was that. But until then, he was absolutely electric. 0.71 ERA in the World Series. I believe it was one earned run given up in 12 innings, 12 and 2/3 innings of the World Series, up at the top of my head. Last time I checked. I mean, that's just electric. That's unbelievable. So the idea that it would be anything other than positive negotiations is mind-blowing to me. But I'm still trying to work out why he opted out in the first place. And what did Brian Cashman say to him to convince him that just to opt into the current deal? Or do you think Gerrit Cole was just like, you know what? The Yankees are my team. I absolutely love them. I don't want to go anywhere else. So he changed his mind. What do you guys think? I'm trying to work that out. I think it was probably, you could maybe make the argument that it was Boris was like, you should opt out. And then Gerrit Cole, after discussing with Brian Cashman, thought, you know what, I don't want to leave under any circumstances. So let's just opt back in. John Beagle Dad says, I think he wants to retire a Yankee. I didn't know he wants to retire a Yankee. He absolutely does. He has no intention of going anywhere else. Karen says, Weaver. Yeah, I mean, Weaver was heroic out of the bullpen. One of the only bullpen arms that you can trust. Stevie B says, I think Boris Cole wanted to be a Yankee. Sounds like an A-Rod situation. Does make sense. And I'm fine with that. Not many players. That's why I believe Gerrit Cole is one of our cool leaders. I think he's one of the dudes that you can absolutely trust in a big spot. I mean, who do you guys in the chat trust in a big spot? Regular season numbers aside, who do you want on the mound in a big spot? And who do you want up at the plate in a big spot? For me, it's those three dudes that I listed. Gerrit Cole on the mound, Weaver on the mound, and then Big G and Juan Soto. And we don't even know if we're going to bring back Juan Soto yet. It's 50-50. I don't want Aaron Judge up in a big spot. He's shown he can't handle it. You come at me all you want, but his numbers are not good in the postseason. Oh, saw the video talking about on YouTube breaks down the flaws in the team with lots of statistics that make you cringe how bad defense was and what we've been saying about certain players. Spot on, Stevie B. That'll be very interesting. But it's nothing that we don't already know. Let's be honest. I mean, listen, the Dodgers went through our fatal flaws, so none of that is a surprise. So another thing that isn't so anyway. There's great news about Gerrit Cole. Thank God he's back. I love Gerrit Cole. Gregor John Stanton is better in the playoffs than Judge. It's not even a debate. He absolutely is. Stevie said, "Yeah, send me the video. We can check it out. I'm more than happy to check it out, man. It'll be good to break that stuff down." So yeah, great news about Gerrit Cole. Gerrit Cole's my guy. I absolutely love the guy. I trust him intrinsically in a big spot. It's heartbreaking how it all went down, and it's heartbreaking that the inning went the way it did because it kind of took away from the fact that he was throwing a no-hitter in a World Series game and has almost been forgotten about because of how awful our defense is. So, very sad because that shouldn't have been the story. The story should have been what Gerrit Cole did to get us to Game 6. But, of course, Aaron Boone and his Yankee team imploded, as they've been trying to implode all season long. Let's just be honest. They've been trying to implode all season long. So I'm not surprised that they imploded when they did. So what isn't also a surprise is Gleyber Torres looks like he's gone. Holy shit. So let's talk about Gleyber Torres, guys. John the Beagle, that I'm very annoyed still with Judge. You're not the only one, man. I don't think I'm going to forgive him for a long time. Those are the kind of World Series that's unforgivable, in my opinion. John the Beagle that says, people will hate me. I feel we should not have made it to the World Series. I mean, I agree. We will talk about that kind of stuff, though, when we talk about Kelly's comments, because I'm sure it's going to bring up some interesting debate. But let's go back in the Gleyber Torres, guys. So the Yankees didn't pick up his qualifying offer. Is anybody surprised? I am not surprised in the least. Because here's the reality. Here is the reality regarding Juan Soto and Gleyber Torres. I mean, obviously, Juan Soto, we offered the qualifying offer. I mean, he's going to reject it. But Gleyber Torres, this is not a surprise. Gleyber's coming off a 1.7 WAR with very poor offensive metrics in the regular season. And defensively, he was a minus 11 defensive runs saved. And his base running metrics were so bad, it was a minus 4.6 BSR metrics. So when your DRS is minus 11 and your base running is minus 4.6 in terms of metrics, you've only got a 1 WAR. That doesn't add up to 21 million AAV on the open market. It just doesn't. And the Yankees couldn't risk him picking up that qualifying offer because I'm guarantee you Gleyber Torres would have picked it up. Gleyber Torres wants to prove himself and he wants to stay a Yankee for life. I think if the Yankees offered him the 21 mil qualifying offer, he would have taken it and bet on a bounce back season and then tried to get free agency the year after. He'd still be in his 20s. and he'd hopefully have a better statistical season. So the Yankees are trying to think about luxury tax, and they're trying to think about Juan Soto. They obviously fully believe that they can bring Juan Soto back, or else they would have probably picked up Torres' qualifying offer. I think a lot of this is to do with Juan Soto. The truth is they can't afford Torres and Soto on the payroll. It is what it is. But Gleyber Torres had a phenomenal postseason. He was the leadoff hitter that we've been needing all year long. We tried Volpe there. It was a disaster. We tried Verdugo there. It was a disaster. We tried several different variations at leadoff, and it was all a complete and total disaster. But we stumbled on Gleyber Torres leading off, and he was great. And he was a key part to our postseason run. And so I give a lot of credit to him. I really do. Because all season long, I thought that this guy, because he was horrible in the regular season. I was like, I'm done with this guy. I'm done with this guy. But I have to say, he proved me wrong. He was awesome in the postseason, and he was one of the only guys that showed up. The offense was literally Gleyber Torres getting on base, Juan Soto trying to drive him in, and Big G trying to hit home runs and succeeding. The rest, there was no other offense. So I give him a ton of credit for what he did. He was unlucky not to hit a home run, where he hit a shot that obviously looked like it cleared the wall, but it was fan interference and it was a double. But he had so many great moments in the postseason. So I tip my cap to him. He actually played pretty good defense in the postseason too. And he was switched on. He was one of the only guys that showed up. So whatever happens to him, I give him a ton of credit. But the problem with Gleyber Torres is, and it's a problem with, it's less to do with Gleyber and more to do with the way that the Yankees run the organization. And I'll keep beating this drum for anyone who actually wants to listen. And it might not be the popular take. But for me, it was less to do with Gleyber Torres and more to do with Aaron Boone. And I'll keep saying it. I believe the problems with Gleyber Torres was less to do with Gleyber Torres and more to do with Aaron Boone and the Yankee leadership. Let me explain. The one time that Gleyber Torres was held to account for being lazy, what happened? The one time, and it happened this year. The one time that he was held to account for losing focus, what happened? Aaron Boone went public, benched him, stood by the decision, and what happened? I'm waiting, guys. I'm waiting. I'll tell you what happened. He played really frickin' well. He played really frickin' well, which shows that if you hold people accountable, when you demand something from players, you ask for a little bit more than what they're given. Guess what happens? Wow, you get an uptick in performance. Imagine that. Hold people accountable. Karen says, sat him out and he got better. Exactly. CT Cards, hold people accountable. It works. Exactly. I fully believe that if we had a manager whose name wasn't Aaron Boone, who sits blowing pink bubbles all day, and we had a manager that was tougher on his players. Now, I'm not asking him to be Lou Piniella, sweet Lou Piniella. I'm not asking him to be Billy Martin. I'm not asking him to be Joe Girardi even. I'm just asking for a manager to be a little tougher. And when someone strays out of line, to very much put them in line. That's how management works. And especially at an organization which should have the standards that they had back in the 90s of winning at all costs. But they've seemed to have fallen away from that. And it just seems to be about togetherness now and loving each other and sending each other love notes and blowing pink bubbles and once again sharing how much they adore each other. That seems to be the Yankee way now, at the expense of holding people accountable, winning championships, and all these things. So for me, if we had a tougher manager, I think we would have seen a better Gleyber Torres. Because I want to ask anyone who's an Aaron Boone defender, and I don't think there's many of them left. I really don't. I think most of us have seen the light. But I want to ask any Aaron Boone defender who's improved under his watch. Who? Who's improved under his watch? I'll wait. I've got all the time in the world. Who's improved under Aaron Boone's watch? Did Gary Sanchez improve under his watch? He actually got worse. When he took over from Joe Girardi, and then he changed, and they obviously changed the managerial style from being tough on players, working them hard, all that stuff, and you replace it with pink bubbles. What happened? Did it work for Gary Sanchez? No, it didn't. Right? So he's off for nothing. We lost him for nothing. One of the best natural hitters we had in our farm system, by the way. Lost him for nothing. Because of his focus. Not every player is like a fucking computer. And that's something that the analytics Mike Fishman doesn't understand. Not everyone is a fucking computer. Some people need actual management. Some people need someone that's going to put their arm around them and give them a little bit of positivity and all that stuff. But some of them need a kick up the ass. And a good manager knows the right buttons to push. And for me, Aaron Boone is a one-button guy. And that one button is I love you, love you, love you. All that shit. Right? And it works on certain players. It works on the players that like all that stuff. But it doesn't work for the guys that need a kick up the ass. So, Gary Sanchez, did it work for him? No, it didn't. Let's keep going. I mean, CT goes Aaron Hicks. Yeah, Aaron Hicks became even lazier, if possible. He went from so fucking lazy to he just went and became a golfer. So, who's actually improved under Aaron Boone? Who? I mean, you can say Aaron Judge, but come on, it's Aaron Judge. The guy's generational bat. So, I'm not counting him. Who else? Who's improved? Gleyber Torres hasn't. CT Cards, Donald, I honestly got nothing. Come on, 50 people in the chat. Who's improved under Aaron Boone? I want to know. I can't think of anyone. So I just named two of the dudes that were the two purest hitters coming out of our system. Now, obviously, Torres came from outside. He came from the Cubs, but he was still a young player. Developed. He didn't improve. Gary Sanchez? He didn't improve. Who improved? I can't think of anyone who improved under Aaron Boone. No one. Jeopardy music is going, sissy. It's spot on. Karen says no one. I can't think of anyone. Aaron Boone doesn't make people better. He doesn't. He'll just tell you how much he loves you, which is really sweet and all. Lovely. I'm sure it's really nice on Valentine's Day. But what does that do for winning championships? So really, I honestly don't really blame Gleyber Torres. This is who Gleyber Torres is. He's someone that has all the natural talent in the world. All the natural talent in the world is Gleyber Torres. All the natural talent. He can hit to all fields. He's a good second baseman when he wants to be. But sometimes he gets incredibly lazy. Um, he doesn't run it out to first base. He gets very lazy on defense, and it tends to be if he's not hitting offensively, it gets in his head, and it affects his defense. Um, and sometimes vice versa, because when the Yankees made the incredibly stupid decision to move him to shortstop, it absolutely destroyed Gleyber Torres' momentum. He was never a shortstop. He can't play shortstop. And the Yankees forced him to play shortstop. He hated it, and he couldn't play on, and it completely affected his play on the field. And since then, Torres has been trying to get himself back to the level that he was before the Yankees moved him to shortstop. So again, I ask, how have the Yankees made Gleyber Torres better? No, they didn't. They didn't make it better. And it's a huge indictment on the Yankee organization. It's a huge indictment on Brian Cashman, huge indictment on the teaching and the major league level, huge indictment on the coaching staff, and a huge indictment on the manager. Because these aren't the type of players you want walking out the door. A fairly affordable guy who can hit, who can play a bit of defense. Those are the kind of guys you want to keep. And he's a good dude, Gleyber Torres. And he absolutely loves the Yankees. Those are the kind of guys you want to keep normally. But the Yankees have done him no favors. And he's the type of dude that gets very lackadaisical. I'm not defending his laziness. I've been wanting him gone for a while, but I still think it's less to do with him than it is the Yankees. And I would not be surprised that if Gleyber Torres goes to another organization, he will succeed. I would not be surprised. I could see him going to Seattle. I could see him going to a National League club. And I think he's going to succeed. I really do. And I hope he does. I want him to do well. Now, don't get me wrong. The Yankees are right not to pick up his qualifying offer because they have to prioritize Juan Soto. And I don't think that they can. We already went through the payroll. I don't see how it's going to fit taking on this extra $50 million for Soto, and then you still need to address first base, left field, an entire bullpen, maybe another starter. You can't add all that stuff plus take on $20 million of Gleyber Torres contract. So I don't blame the Yankees for that, but I do blame the Yankees for getting to this position, Gleyber Torres, because all they do is they gaslight us about how great Aaron Boone is, and I want to know from anyone in the chat. I want to know from Hunt Tough. So Torres is gone. I want to know who Aaron Boone has made better since he's taken charge in 2018. Who has he improved? Torres is gone. Yeah, Hunt. Not 100%, but I'd say 99% because we didn't pick up his qualifying offer. So he now goes into as a complete free agent, and the Yankees can't afford to bring him back unless they can renegotiate on a much cheaper deal. If his market is weak, and I don't know if his market's going to be that weak because I don't think this is the strongest free agent market for the teams that don't land Juan Soto. After Juan Soto, Gleyber is one of the better free agents. So you could make the argument that he could have a fairly strong market. I wouldn't be surprised if a team watches the way he played in the postseason and goes, you know what, we could maybe work with that. So it certainly looks to me like he's gone. I can't see it. I can't see any way that he's brought back. Also, look at the other second basemen that are free agents. Gleyber Torres is by far the best. So let's share the screen and let's go through the current free agents of the infield. and and what we're expecting to see. So uh, in the market, it's still very early. All that in mind, all with that in mind, we will have a look at the market. Right, Gleyber Torres. This is according to MLB.com. Gleyber Torres is the best second baseman as a free agent. They've got his WAR at 5.3. Depends on which WAR you look at. Um, they might have a different way of looking at it, but I believe his WAR is closer to like 1 or 2. Anyway, that's by the by. His 5.3 WAR is the best. Next is Kyle Farmer, but he's 34. Gleyber Torres is 28. He's still in his prime. Whit Merrifield's 36. He's cooked. Love Whit, but he's cooked. Jorge Polanco, 31. Brandon Dury, he's 32. Adam Frazier, he's 33 and he's got a negative WAR. Tony Kemp is 33 and he's got a negative WAR. Joey Wendell is 35 and he's got a -1 WAR. So if any team needs a second baseman, Gleyber Torres is by far the best, and it's not even close. So if a team needs a second baseman, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of teams that need a second baseman that can hit for average and provide slightly below average defense at second base, I think they'd offer multiple years for him, and I don't think the Yankees can offer much for Gleyber Torres, considering they're going all in on Juan Soto. Now, if we get to the event where Juan Soto goes to the Mets, it's possible the Yankees re-engage with Gleyber Torres, but it would have to be a lot cheaper than the $21 million qualifying offer. So that's what I'm saying here. What's Marvin got to say here? Is Soto going to give New York a chance to re-sign him, or is he going to take meetings with other clubs first? Well, we'll have to find out. From what I understand, the Yankees are going to have as good a chance as any. And I think if the Yankees offered I'm absolutely guaranteed that if the Yankees offer the higher offer, then they're gonna get him. But they have to offer the highest offer. I think he's going to give a lot of teams a chance. From what I understand, there's going to be 11 teams that are checking in on him. So I think it's going to whittle down to like 5. But I would certainly see the Mets. I would see the Blue Jays. I would see the Phillies. Wouldn't be surprised if the Dodgers checked in. But I don't think the Dodgers will be serious. Maybe even the Padres. Who knows? I wouldn't be surprised if an LA team jumps in. I mentioned the Blue Jays and Phillies. I think there'll be a bunch of teams that will check in. And from what I understand from John Heyman, there's some small market clubs that want to offer him the moon and the stars and make him like their front and center. So I would say the most likely ones for me would be Yankees, Mets, and I don't think there's too much difference between the two for Soto. And maybe the Phillies third and Blue Jays fourth, just off the top of my head. But we need to find out who else is in. You know. No, there is a big difference. Well, of course, there's a big difference. I'm a Yankee fan, but if I'm being honest, I think the Mets have a pretty good shot because they don't have any payroll limitations. That's what I mean. So that's well, yeah, Yankees endorsement bringing way more money than the Mets. Absolutely, no, you're spot on, man. I do agree with that, but I'm just talking about ownership. Cohen wants to make Juan Soto everything, and we're already seeing how Hal Steinbrenner is talking about how he doesn't want his payroll to be over 300 million, and he's worried about all that stuff. And then we've got Michael Kay saying that if the Yankees bring in Juan Soto, that they're just going to fill out the rest of the positions with farm system dudes. So it sounds like the Yankees are putting self-imposed limitations So maybe that makes me concerned that the Yankees aren't going to be the highest bidder. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm just trying to read the tea leaves. Hunt says he doesn't think the Yankees should bring. Oh, we absolutely have to bring Soto back. He's everything. He's absolutely he's everything. My contention is get Juan Soto and stop this payroll limitation and and go and get better players around him. For me, he's the leader of this team, and there's far too many dudes that aren't leaders on this team. But that's the second baseman situation. Let's go back to Gleyber Torres. Isn't Judge supposed to be everything? No, not to me. Let's have a look and see the rest of this free agent situation, because we have to think about what do we do now that Gleyber Torres is now a free agent. Where will the Yankees look? So, we got the shortstops. We got Willie Adames. He's excellent. Ha-Seong Kim, Jose Iglesias. I like Jose Iglesias, but he's 35. Paul DeJong, Kevin Newman, Ahmed Rosario. I don't mind Rosario. Nak Ahmed, Brandon Crawford. He's 38. I mean, come on. Tim Anderson, no. Diaz, no. And the third baseman, because the Yankees need a third baseman, Alex Bregman is by far the best. 8.6 WAR, he's excellent. JD Davis, no thanks. Moncada, no thanks. Gio Urshela, I love you. We should never have traded you for Josh Donaldson, but no. Brian Anderson, no. Jake Peterson, no. Luis Arias, no. Maybe not. So that's it. There's not a whole lot of options in the infield. Let's look at the first baseman situation. Got Christian Walker, by far the best. Got Pete Alonso, no thanks. Carlos Santana, he's like 40, 39, but he's really good. Paul Goldschmidt, love Paul Goldschmidt, but he's 37. Justin Turner's 40. Donovan Salato's 30. So look at the age of these dudes. Wilmer Flores, 33. Joey Shallow, 31. He sucks now. He was the worst Yankee like ever. Anthony Rizzo, we love you, brother. Unfortunately, he's cooked. Josh Bell, that's not a horrible option on like a 1-year deal, maybe. Gurriel, 41. G-Man Chow, 34. Rowdy Tellez, 30. Ty France. Yikes. So there's not a whole lot of options. And if the Yankees were to lose Juan Soto to the Mets or wherever, where would he go? Where would we go? We would go with Anthony Santander or Teoscar Hernandez. Well, I love Teoscar Hernandez, but he came out and said that he will do whatever it takes to go back to the Dodgers. He adores the Dodgers. So I don't see him being an option. Max Kepler, Jason Hayward, Kritchuk. Nope. That would only be Anthony Santander or Teoscar Hernandez would be an option in right. Anthony Santander is brilliant, but he's not Juan Soto. Nobody's Juan Soto. Not even Aaron Judge is Juan Soto. Left field, Tyler O'Neill, Jurickson Profar. I love Jurickson Profar. Now, the Yankees need to upgrade in left field. So, I always thought the Yankees should have signed Profar last year. Tyler O'Neill, Michael Conforto, Verdugo, no thanks. And that's really it. So, there's not a ton of options in free agency, guys. I mean, who do you guys want? So that's when you go through it, the Yankees absolutely have to bring back Juan Soto. If we sign Soto, we got to give Spencer Jones a shot by moving Soto to first. No, Soto's not moving to first. He's not moving to first. Judge in right field, Dominguez center field, Jones left field. I mean, Spencer Jones, you could move him to first because he's played there before. But then you're sacrificing his athleticism and his range in the outfield, and he's got great range in center field. Ton of speed, ton of ability to track down balls in the outfield. You probably don't want to move that to first base. The Yankees need to think about other first base options. So the first base options would be Rumfield, or go with Rice. Go with Ben Rice. Or you go outside the organization and you think about the trade market. So you can maybe think about Nathaniel Lowe of Texas, something like that. Hunt says, no, you put Judge at first. I would do that before you move Soto. But we're not messing around with Aaron Judge either, I don't think. But, he's going to get older. Once he gets a little older, he might be more open to it. But I'd see that once Stanton leaves, and I think Stanton will probably leave once his in 2-3 years time. That's probably when Aaron Judge moves to DH. So really, the Yankees need to think about a first baseman. And I think it's going to have to come from outside the organization. But they could go Ben Rice again. I like Ben Rice. I thought he was good. Gregory says, if Soto doesn't sign, I like Spencer Jones in left, Dominguez center field, Judge in right. I definitely agree with moving Judge out of center field. I don't think he's a good center fielder. I think he's average. Dominguez, he's not a left fielder. So that kind of makes sense. Spencer Jones on left, you could make that argument. Although I think Spencer Jones is going to be better in center field. That's the problem. We've got two great center fielders in the system. If Soto doesn't sign, Judge in left, Dominguez in center, Santander in right. And if you guys are saying Soto's bad and right, just wait till you see Santander in right. Holy shit. He's a horrible outfielder. Horrible. Will make you beg for Juan Soto. For me, if Soto doesn't sign, the Yankees are cooked. I'll be perfectly honest. I don't think there's another option there. I just went through the free agents with you. Did you guys see a free agent that is absolutely a must? Do you want Pete Alonso? I don't want Pete Alonso. He is not a winner. And good to see Jacob in the chat. Donald, how you doing, my brother? How you doing, Jacob? Donald, you seen Ruben Sierra's tweet? No. Donald, I just tagged you in the tweet. All right. Let's see. You can't get Alonso. You have to replace Rizzo with a lefty. That's right. So I don't totally understand why Christian Walker's name's been bandied about. Unless it was Christian Walker along with Santander, but the Yankees are getting a hell of a lot older. All right, let's see what Jacob's tagging me in with. I do love Ruben Sierra. Ruben Sierra is an absolute. I mean, Ruben Sierra says here, Cole being on board with this ongoing negotiation, plus the Yankees not extending a qualifying offer to Gleyber Torres, means the Yankees have something big in the works. Well, you have to hope so, but what I don't understand was that Andy Martino says that there aren't any negotiations going on. Don't have a Carlson. No, dude's 40. We have to get younger, guys. We have to get younger. Gregory Wayne, I hope the Yankees stay in the system for first base, Rice and or Rumfield. I get it. Thing is, Rice, I mean, he's brought up in the system as a catcher / first baseman. Would you consider him being a backup catcher for Austin Wells? And then he could also spell time at first as an emergency first baseman, but get him to focus on being a backup catcher. Because I would love to get rid of Trevino. I know the Yankees are obsessed with that. I don't like him. I don't think there's a big difference between Trevino and Narvaez. I really don't. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at. There's not a whole ton of options. What other first base options other than Rice or Rumfield? It would only be Spencer Jones, but again, you're sacrificing his elite athleticism. And I don't think he's ready yet either. I think Spencer Jones still needs another year of seasoning in the minors. So, do you guys think that Rice is ready to play every day? I mean, it's a big jump because the Yankees didn't trust him in the postseason roster. I like TJ Rumfield. Let's have a look and see what TJ Rumfield did in the minors this year. Rumfield, right? Let's look and see his stats. Okay. 2024. Overall, I'll share the screen. It was a strong year for our man Rumfield. I do have to say that. Okay, 2024. And as I say, hit that like button, hit the sub button for those who are new to the chat. Let's get this thing climbed to 900. All right, so 2024, 15 home runs, 73 RBIs. 82 strikeouts, 49 walks, and 449 at-bats. Okay. Love the batting average, 294. Love that. That's a decent slug, 454. You like that. 824 OPS is freaking electric. Love that. So Rumfield is someone to keep an eye out on, for sure. Let's see. Can we get CJ Rumfield's home run up? That could be fun.
Rumfield waiting from an open stance fairly close to home plate.
Pretty open stance.
The pitch. Swing and a fly ball.
Nice
well
level
right.
swing.
Blankenhorn's going back. It's over his head. That is out of here. A home run from Rumfield that just got over the yellow line, bouncing back onto the field of play.
Wouldn't throw him out of bed for eating toast, as they say. That's a nice level swing that he's got. I like that. Okay, well, that's certainly an option if the Yankees want to go internal, because according to Michael Kay, if we bring back Juan Soto, the Yankees are going to fill in a lot of the rest of the holes with internal options. So that's going to be interesting. Marvin asks, well, he says he's anxious to see who Cashman brings in to fill some of these holes. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Greg says Santander had a great year playing for his free agency, but don't want to see him as a Yankee. We want to get younger, guys. We want to get younger. We want to get more athletic. We want to fix some of these fundamental issues Another thing, the Yankees need to fix this bullpen. And there's a ton of arms out there that the Yankees really need to look at, even trade for, and they need to put a higher priority on that than they did this past year. They need to prioritize swinging this stuff, which they didn't prioritize for whatever reason. Hunt says we need Clay Holmes. I would rather have my teeth removed by a spoon than have Clay Holmes return as a Yankee. I absolutely despise Clay Holmes with every fiber of my being. Fuck Clay Holmes. Fuck Clay Holmes forever. I absolutely cannot stand that man. Sorry, Hunt. You might like him. I don't. I can't stand him. What about Tommy Kahnle, Mr. Changeup? They need to do something. I mean, if you're going to bring back Kahnle, he needs to be a middle reliever because you don't want him as a setup man. That dude only throws changeups. The Dodgers were sitting changeup on Tommy Kahnle because once again they did scouting the Yankees didn't bother doing. The Dodgers were sitting changeup because they were like, holy shit, Tommy Kahnle only throws changeups. Like there was a streak during the postseason where he threw like 20 straight changeups. He didn't throw one single fastball. And the Dodgers were like, okay, well, let's just time our swing and we'll tee off. Because, the Dodgers are a serious organization, unlike the Yankees, So that brings us to our final talking point, guys. What about Joe Kelly going in on the Yankees? And I'm here for it. I have to say I'm here for it. Let's bring up what Joe Kelly had to say about the Yankees. And I have to say, I kind of love it. Because it's gonna do is it's gonna seriously piss off people in the Yankee organization, and I think that's hilarious. So I'm just gonna get that tweet up. Joe Kelly went to town on the Yankees as an organization, and I think it's hilarious. Because all it's going to do is it's going to really piss off Brian Cashman. And it's going to really piss off the homers that obviously exist within Yankee Twitter and the Yankee Twitterverse. There's a whole lot of simps and a whole lot of people that shake their ass for the Yankees. And not a whole lot of people that want to speak the truth. And, salute to NYYU. They speak the truth. And on other channels, Strike Zone. And there's some good Yankee channels out there, but not many speak the absolute, unfiltered truth. And I think it's hilarious what Joe Kelly had to say. So, Joe Kelly on the Yankees-Dodgers World Series. Let's go. Let's go. Now, I don't care that Joe Kelly didn't pitch. I don't care. I mean, he still has the right to talk. He's in the organization. He was in the scouting meetings. He would have been. He would have been involved in what the managers and the coaches have got to say. So Joe Kelly on the Yankees-Dodgers World Series. This is from a Dodgers perspective, and I'm open to it. It was a mismatch from the get-go. Love it. If we had a playoff re-ranking, they might be ranked 8th or 9th best playoff team. That I disagree with. But this is hilarious. You're putting the Padres ahead of them. He's spot on. You're putting the Phillies ahead of them. He's spot on. You're putting the Mets ahead of them. Spot on. You're putting the Braves ahead of them. Spot on. The Guardians played like crap. Spot on. But the Guardians played better defense and better baseball all around. Well, that doesn't mean they're a better team. The Yankees are a much better team than the Guardians. But he says it was a complete mismatch. All we knew is that we had to play regular Dodger baseball. We didn't even have to do anything crazy. And we were going to win the World Series. Look at the team. Look at the talent. I mean, he's right. We go through numerous scouting reports. We pay attention to every single detail. Oh man, Brian Cashman must be squirming. And I love it. We have a lot of big superstars in our clubhouse. Fact. But our superstars also care and aren't lazy. Kill shot. Oh my god. Kill shot on the Yankees. And they play hard. Another kill shot. That's the difference and the biggest separator. Oh my god. Oh my god. Brian Cashman must be absolutely squirming. And I'm here for it. I want Brian Cashman to squirm. I want him to have to answer. And I want him to have to try and gaslight his way out of this. I do. I want him to. I want Aaron Boone to answer for his numerous crimes as a manager. I want all the smoke. I do. Now call me a shitty fan. I don't care. Because I'm an honest fan. And one thing you'll always get on this stream is the absolute honesty, the brutal honesty. I don't simp for anyone. I don't simp for any organization. I don't simp for clicks. I speak from the heart. And what my absolute intuition was during this whole season was that Yankees don't pay attention to scouting reports. They don't pay attention to the fine details. They don't work on fundamentals. They have a bunch of players playing out of position. And it's not just my opinion. Even Susan Waldman said that. She said the Yankees have far too many people playing out of position. And she's right. There's far too many dudes playing out of position. Go Jazz Chisholm playing third base where he'd never played before. And we had Juan Soto, who's not really a right fielder, playing right field. Aaron Judge, who's not really a center fielder, playing center field. And we had Dominguez, who's a center fielder, playing left field. And a whole bunch of that. You had Ben Rice playing first when he's not actually a first baseman. You had Oswaldo Cabrera playing second base when he's not really a second baseman. You had a whole bunch of that. So you had a whole bunch of guys playing out of position. Because the Yankees don't prioritize putting people in the best position to succeed. It's all about putting talent out there and having Aaron Boone tell them that they're wonderful. And you can blow smoke up the player's ass all you want. You can blow smoke up the media's ass about how great the Yankees are. And you can blow smoke up about half the fan base. But you can't blow smoke up people that pay attention. And you can't blow smoke up the opposition. And the Dodgers are clowning the Yankees right now. And the Yankees should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. They should. And I honestly I'm not going to give the Yankees a bunch of credit for making the World Series. That should be the standard. Look at that American League. That American League was a mess. The Yankees were just the best of a bad bunch. That's my honest truth. I don't think it was a huge achievement to get through the Royals or the Guardians. I think talent alone can get you through that. But you're not going to get through a Dodger team without your fundamentals being sound. And without players holding each other accountable, without a tough locker room, and smart decisions. And we don't have any of that. So when Joe Kelly, with the kill shot, says that we've got superstars that actually try, that's a huge indictment on the Yankee organization. Now, I'm not going to cast aspersions. I don't know which ones in the Yankee locker room aren't giving their full effort. I'm not going to say any of that. But if y'all paid attention to Joel Sherman's post article, he broke down what Mookie Betts does. And this is what Mookie Betts does. He gets to the ballpark early. Very early. And he's a superstar. He gets to the ballpark super duper early. And he practices pivoting. Bouncing the ball off the wall, pivoting, and getting into the infield. And to the cutoff. To the cutoff man. And he just keep doing it. All morning, all afternoon. You just keep doing it. And if he throws a ball out of line, He shouts expletives at himself, and he adds another 20 to 30 out of punishment. That is someone who works incredibly hard at his craft. That is a superstar that isn't interested in walking around like he's a superstar. He's someone that just wants to win, and whatever it takes to win. So I can speak from that, knowing that Mookie Betts practices that craft, works on that craft to be the best. Who on the Yankees practices their craft to be their best? Gerrit Cole, Juan Soto, and we're not guaranteed Juan Soto back. Big G. Who else? Aaron Judge? You want to put Aaron Judge in there? Okay. Put Aaron Judge in there. Who else? Jazz Chisholm? He talks a hell of a lot. We've had Gleyber Torres have, let's just say, laziness issues. Alex Verdugo, he already openly admitted at times where he dogged it. So he's not one. Plus he bat like 500 OPS for a while. Who else? That's it. That's the Aaron Boone locker room, guys. Who is Joe Kelly to criticize any player or any team, really? Well, he's on a World Series winning team. I don't mind. He's just saying what everyone knows. I mean, Yankee fans that simp for the Yankees aren't going to like it, and obviously the Yankee officials aren't going to like it, but who gives a fuck about them? Let's just be honest. This is how the Yankees run their organization. They don't care about fundamentals. They've made a bunch of mistakes, and they gaslight us that they're doing great. I don't think they're doing great. I think Juan Soto carried the Yankees to the World Series. And then they got found out once we reached a better team. Nando, Dodgers 2024 World Champions, you bums. Salute. Nando, I hope you enjoyed your parade. Yankees are the slowest team. That's right. Because once again, the Yankees, and it's not just Joe Kelly, man. It's the entire Dodger organization. The entire Dodger organization went to town on the Yankees, man. Because the Yankees embarrassed themselves. Whether the Yankees want to admit it or not, and whether half this fan base want to admit it or not, the Yankees embarrassed themselves on the biggest stage. That's just the truth. They absolutely embarrassed themselves on the biggest stage. And it might not be the popular take, but it's the truth. They did. Here. The Dodgers were thrilled how short Yankee leads were at first base to potentially be less of a threat on pivots to second. Gavin Lux did not excel. They said their metrics had the Yankees as the worst position outfield. That's correct. They were amazed at how many times relay throws came skittering through the infield with no one taking charge, and how often Jazz Chisholm Jr., for example, was out of place or just standing still when a play was in action. So, let's break that down. They said the metrics had the Yankees as the worst position outfield. I agree. Why was Juan Soto playing so shallow at right field? He needed to be playing much deeper so that balls wouldn't go in over his head, because that was his one weakness in right field this year. Juan Soto's one weakness was that at times balls would go over his head. So why weren't our analytics team, Mike Fishman, that fucking moron, Aaron Boone, that fucking pink bubble blowing moron, didn't have Juan Soto in a better position. He had Aaron Judge playing far too deep, so a bunch of balls would just keep dropping right in front of him all the fucking time. I saw all year long. And another thing, spot on about Jazz Chisholm Jr. Who's coaching Jazz Chisholm Jr.? Because balls were just, he was a terrible relay man because he was just standing still. So, I'm sorry. These are advanced scouts. The Dodgers were at every Yankee game right through the postseason, fully expecting the Yankees to make the World Series, so they were prepared. And that's why Joe Kelly should not be just dismissed by Yankee fans because they hate him. I don't care. I'm looking at what a professional on a World Series winning team has got to say from his knowledge of what his scouts on his organization, the players on his organization, the people in his locker room would be discussing about the Yankee embarrassment. So they would know all this shit. So yeah, I do actually take it on board. And I think he's got a point. Because these Dodger scouts were pointing this out. The metrics said the Yankees is the worst positioned outfield. Alright? What the Dodgers told their players in scouting meetings was the Yankees were talent over fundamentals. That if you run the bases with purpose and aggression, the Yankees will self-inflict harm, as was exposed by Betts, Tommy Edman, Freddie Freeman, etc. That the value is very high to put the ball in play to make the Yankees execute. They mentioned that the Yankees were not just the major's worst base running team by every metric, but the difference was vast on the field between them and the Padres, who the Dodgers beat in the NL Division Series, but were impressive in that area. There you go, once again. Put the ball in play and watch the Yankees implode. So, I'm sorry, I'm listening to Joe Kelly. Mark Gates, it's 100% Baboon's fault. He's a lot to do with it. Okay, so New York weren't perfect, but neither were they. That was a fluke win. I don't think the Dodgers once claimed that they played perfect. Kelly himself said that the Dodgers didn't even need to do anything special. They just needed to play regular baseball, and the Yankees would lose. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to gas up the Yankees for you. For clicks. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm always going to be straight and brutally honest. And this is everything to do with the way that the Yankees run their organization. They run it with a sniveling arrogance. They run it with a belief that they're better than they are. I don't know what details the Yankees paid attention to go after the Dodgers. What did the Yankees do to prepare for that Dodgers series? Freddie Freeman is an absolute monster with the bases loaded. What did they do? They loaded the bases to face him. He's an absolute monster with pitches up in the zone inside. What's up, guys? Sorry about that. Looks like Brian Cashman might have chucked me out of my stream. my my internet cut out. What is up? Yeah, I froze. I was just getting cooking right there. The way I see it, Yankees limit some of managerial mistakes and defensive lapses is totally different series. So yeah, I think it was a fluky win. Yeah, I mean, I think the Dodgers earned it. I think the Dodgers were the better team. The Yankees are the slowest team. They certainly are. Absolute fact. So sorry about that, guys. I was just getting cooking right there. Marvin says he'd get rid of the whole bullpen, but Weaver and Hill. Makes sense. Makes sense. I agree with that. They definitely didn't scout where to pitch the Dodgers hitters. Yeah, that was my point. They kept pitching. They kept pitching Freeman into his hot zone. It was crazy, and they kept doing it. They kept crushing the Yankees, and they kept pitching to him in his hot zone. It was insane. And what were their plans with Tommy Kahnle? Oh, just keep throwing a changeup. They'll be surprised. I don't get the Yankees management structure. So, for me, I think Kelly was right. I think he was spitting facts, actually. I mean, do you all agree? Or do you think he was being harsh? What do you all say to that? So sorry once again, guys, that my stream cut out midway as I was cooking. Very, very annoying. I'm blaming it on Brian Cashman. Maybe he cut my electricity. So once again, guys, hit that like button, hit that sub button. Jets, mess. Salute to you, man. How are you? What are you doing this evening, man? You gonna get ready for the Knicks game in a few minutes? What's up, man? What's up? What did you think of Joe Kelly's ripping the Yankees? Just go home from work. Salute to you, man. Where do you work, Jets? Mess. And also, bro, are you a tank commander for the Jets, or are you one to try and win games and try and climb up to 500? Because I'm a tank commander with the Giants. I want the Giants to tank for a draft pick and get a quarterback, and hopefully a new GM. Tank. Love it. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. Tank commanders all the way. No, I mean, I agree with Joe Kelly. I don't think Joe Kelly said anything that's wrong. I really don't. I think he was just spitting facts. I worked security in a high school and coached at the school. That was awesome, man. Do you coach football? So I think anyway, going back to Joe Kelly, I think he was spitting facts. The Yankees aren't going to like it, and I can't wait to see how Brian Cashman tries to spin it. He'll downplay it. He'll be confrontational, and he'll spin it that we're pretty fucking good actually. We made it to the World Series. What do you want? And he's within his rights to do so because they were the runners up. But second is nowhere in sports. It really is. They don't give out participation trophies. And the Yankees should not be in the business of accepting participation trophies. This is the Yankees. If it's another organization, fine. But it's not. This is the big bad Yankees with the 27 World Championships. There has to be better standards here. The Yankees are getting clowned. The Yankees are getting clowned. The Cincinnati Bengals coach used the Yankees as an example of how not to play defense. I saw that on Sunday. I came across that tweet. So, literally, other sports are laughing at the Yankees. Implosion. How could they even justify picking up Aaron Boone's option? That's an embarrassment. Do we let Cole go and chase younger guys? Well, Cole's staying, man. He's opted back in. He's staying. He's brought back on the same deal that he had before. So we've got our ace back. That's the one great news we have today. Other news: Gleyber Torres. We didn't pick up his qualifying offer. So it looks like we're going to have to think about other options. I would say most likely with second base, I think you're probably looking at Peraza. I think the best option would be Jazz Chisholm at second, and then you play Peraza at third. Maybe Peraza at third and Oswaldo Cabrera at third, and Birdie. Cole opted out, but actually opted back in. That was the breaking news, my man. Cole opted out and then opted back in. So, salute to our ace. He wanted to be a Yankee. He wants to retire a Yankee. It's freaking great news. So he didn't even. The Yankees didn't want to take on the pick up that option, which was like $39 million. They didn't want to do that. So Gerrit Cole opted back into his contract, and nothing's changed. So it's actually worked out pretty well for the Yankees, for both sides. Cole's still getting a ton of money, and the Yankees are getting him back at a little cheaper price to hopefully fill out the rest of their squad. So, third base, I think you're probably going to be looking at, I think Jazz Chisholm should probably play second. And then third base, you can try Peraza and Birdie and Oswaldo Cabrera. So I think that's what they're going to do at third. First base, I think they need to go outside the organization at first. I think you probably want to look at trade candidates. Try Nathaniel Lowe, Texas. Put him over there first. That's a possibility. Or maybe another first baseman. I'm not sure which ones are available right now. It's very early. But we'll see what happens in the winter meetings. That's obviously going to be interesting to see what the Yankees can drum up. But the Yankees definitely need a first baseman. I'd preferably want someone that has a minimum 750 OPS and bats from the left side and plays good defense at first and has a bit of pop. Because the Yankees have ignored first base for far too long. They need to really prioritize it now. And then pray that Juan Soto comes back. Probably looking at, what would it cost? Like $50 million a year? No, it'll be more than that. for Soto. I think your baseline $50 million a year for Juan Soto. So he's worth it, in my opinion. The guy's generational, and he's a better hitter than Aaron Judge. That's right. I said it. Marvin says, I think the Yankees will be fine. Let all the haters hate. It's okay. I don't think they're hating, though. I mean, of course the Yankees are generally hated, but I think they're just speaking the truth. And what do they say in A Few Good Men? You can't handle the truth. I don't think Brian Cashman can handle the truth. So I love that Joe Kelly's ripping them because they deserve it. Because the Yankees have been very arrogant. They blame, and for those who don't believe me, the Yankees blame everybody and everything, but holding themselves accountable. They blamed the wind a couple of years ago in the postseason. They blamed the fans booing a couple of years ago. They blamed all kinds of things. They'll come up with any excuse. They keep going after the Astros for the trash can stuff. That's fine, but it's a lot of excuses. And for me, excuses are losers. If you keep having excuses, that means you're not looking at yourself. And the Yankees have a ton of excuses lined up because they don't want to look at themselves, and that starts from Brian Cashman, and it's the figurehead is Aaron Boone. So I'm always going to hold the Yankees to account because I remember them for where they were quality, and that was back in the dynasty era. They never made excuses. It was win at all costs, and we need to get back to that. I've not forgotten those standards. It looks like the Yankees have. So let's start holding them to that same standard, and that's on all of us as a fan base. All of us need to hold the Yankees to the same standard as Derek Jeter held them, George held them, Jorge Posada held them, Andy Pettitte, Mariano Rivera, Tino Martinez, Bernie Williams. Let's start holding them to the same standards as they pride themselves on. Pride, power, pinstripes, all that shit. Well, it's kind of meek if the Dodgers are clowning you. So how do the Yankees respond? That's on the Yankees to fix this. Don't make excuses. Don't go hide. Stand up. Make yourself accountable. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone approach their upcoming press conferences. Will they be accountable, or will they blame everybody else and keep the status quo? I think it'll be the latter, but I want to be surprised. So those are my thoughts on the matter. But in general, it's been a big night. Gerrit Cole stays. Torres looks like he's off. And Joe Kelly rips the Yankees. A lot's happened tonight, guys. So once again, I do appreciate everybody for jumping in the chat, and I'm very sorry that there are technical difficulties for 5 minutes. That really sucks. But we will be with you again in the next show. Next show's Wednesday. Barring any other breaking news, you never know. With these Yankees, things are happening on a daily basis. So we'll always keep you guys as up to date as possible. This should be a very busy off season. We've got a lot to break down, a lot to talk about, and so really look forward to doing more of these streams with you guys. Salute to everyone that's jumped in and everyone that hit the like button, everyone that hit the sub button. And we do really appreciate your support. We've gained exponential amounts of subs over the last couple of days, and it's freaking awesome. So we can't wait to chat to all you guys again. As I say, our next show is on Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And I'll speak to you guys soon. And as Uncle Taz loves to say, wear your pinstripes of pride and play hard.